So I've been lucky enough to spend some time with IDEO in New York. Some of you might know about IDEO. They're probably the leading practitioner of design thinking in the world. It's a core part of their human-centered design process. So I spent some time learning their methods. They've got 3 ways of representing the design thinking process. The first is an intersection between business, people, and tech, giving an opportunity for experience innovation. And then they describe the design thinking process as moving from discovery all the way through to evolution. So I'll quickly share with you 5 of the most interesting and useful things I learned from my time with them. First of all, research is very pivotal to their approach. And we're not talking about normal market research here. We're talking about research for inspiration. So research for inspiration is almost the polar opposite of traditional market research, because it tries to inspire new ideas rather than improving on existing things. It uncovers latent needs rather than focusing on explicit needs. And importantly, it focuses on individuals and their behaviors rather than market segments. The second interesting thing I learned was when you're doing research, don't just talk to your target audience, speak to extreme users. So one of the projects that they told us about at IDEO was a project to improve a frequent flyer program. They found this guy who was a member of just about every frequent flyer program there was. He knew the advantages and disadvantages of all of them. Even had a spreadsheet so that he could maximize his benefits with frequent flying. So he was basically a subject matter expert on frequent flyer programs. So they brought this guy in, and they got more insight from speaking to one guy than they would have got through speaking to 100 normal people, I guess. Thirdly, learn from analogous inspiration. So sometimes it's difficult to find solutions in complex environments. Analogous activities help us to see patterns in behavior and also to provide fresh insights. So because Discovery is an insurance company, IDEO sent us uptown in New York to go and learn about self-defense from a kung fu master. So the logic behind it was that both insurance and learning self-defense are preparing you for an uncertain future. So there are lots of learnings we could take out of that experience which we could bring back to the insurance world to improve it. The fourth thing I learned was the power of brainstorming, but it's brainstorming with a specific purpose in mind. And it's about not judging other people's ideas, it's about building on people's ideas. It's about encouraging wild ideas, staying on topic, and looking at quantity rather than quality. So at IDEO they have a department which all they do all day is think about new ideas for toys, which they can sell to toy manufacturers. It's pretty like the best job you can get in the world. They start every day with a brainstorm, and then the insights and ideas that they get from that brainstorm are what carries them through the rest of the day to like finalizing their prototypes and delivering their product. And finally, the importance of cross-functional teams. So IDEO will assemble a team based on the requirements of any particular project. So one project might require designers and developers. Another project might require writers and graffiti artists. They're not averse to bringing in experts from outside who can add some value over the short term. So we're using some of these methods at Discovery. We've managed to make the projects and the products that we've worked on a lot better than they would have otherwise been, and that's a fact which has been confirmed by business many times. And a lot of our success has happened in the area of concept development. So I'm going to quickly take you through one of our approaches. Maybe it will give you some ideas about starting some design thinking practices in your organizations. Firstly, out of what you know from your research for inspiration about your customers, your potential customers, or people in general, try to formulate statements which start with the phrase, how might we? So, for example, how might we get young people interested in life insurance? There's quite an art in defining this question because it needs to be broad enough so that it encourages new ideas, and also narrow enough so that you don't get lost in the complexity and the topic becomes unmanageable. So the next step is a cross-functional brainstorm, and then a vote on the best ideas which answer your initial how might we questions, and those are the ideas which you're going to pursue when you're drawing up your concept document. When you go into the concept document, you define your concept. Firstly, you define your value proposition. What is this thing going to do? Secondly, who are your customers? Who's going to use it? What impact do you hope that it has in the world? And how are you going to know if it has been a success? Then you move on to building your story. So give your concept a name, give it a short description in the form of a tweet, which will kind of constrain you, and draw a quick sketch of how it might work or how it might look. Next, you define the user experience. So you flesh out the personas of your target users to kind of bring them to life. And you get down a quick user journey. So sketch 3 or 4 key moments in the usage of your product. Finally, for this phase anyway, you prototype your concept. And you first of all look at a 1-week prototype. So what would be possible if you had a week to build this thing? Then you can look at a 6-month prototype after that.